How we doing, folks? Welcome to episode 10 of Just Conversations, No Interviews. Please remember to like,
share,
subscribe.
Woo! And we have the great Miss O back today. And
hey, y'all.
thank you. She's the greatest.
Crazy.
By this being our 10th episode, you hear us talk about a lot of stuff when we on here. So to the staff and everybody, we're going to enter our first. I gotta take this off. I'm sorry. We're going to go into our first part of investing, and what we're going to do today is this is going to be our 10th episode. So we're going to have a photo, and that's going to give us 10 photos of all the first 10 episodes, and we're going to make that our first NFT. And we're going to break it all down amongst each other because this will be our NFT, our first ever NFT. It might only sell for $1. It may sell for $20. I don't care what it sells for because it has resale value. So the bigger this show get, we're putting out an asset for this show that nobody ever seen before. No other podcast has done it. I know that everybody else is going to try to run and go do it, but we will be one of the first ones. So we're going to take a picture from the first 10 episodes, and that's going to be an NFT that we'll be selling very soon. Check it out, and that's how we're showing people that this investment, this thing is real, and we're going to show how to break down and do things together as a community.
Now, is that something that we also should probably invest in, or?
Well, NFTs, yes, it's art. You are investing.
Okay.
You are investing. So, and
individually as well, though.
Yes, you can. Whatever. Okay. I mean, you can walk down the street with your son or your daughter.
No, but I'm saying, if this is something that we believe in, are we making a set contribution as a team collectively? Like, this is what we doing? Bam.
Well, this is the initial NFT that we're doing, right? Okay. And all of us will be ownership in that NFT. It will sell. I might buy it for $100. Like, I don't care because no. But you gotta understand that every time an NFT sells, no matter who has it, we get a percentage of the sell, whether it's 10% or 30%. The reason why,
that's kind of like what I forget his name, but the rapper, he was talking about on his podcast, right? With the picture, he was telling him to take a picture of the book and
Charlemagne.
Exactly.
Charlemagne, yes.
Got you. So in that same order.
Yeah.
I got it now.
So this is, I like it. You've been doing your research.
Listen, I've been telling people to do it.
Vacation gave you time to really
reflect. In that vitamin D.
But
son.
Also,
you gotta clarify because people like, wait, what? Like,
this is a different kind of vitamin D. Jeez Louise.
That's why I wasn't specifying. Vitamin D, you taking and run with it. Vitamin D.
Wow. Cabo got a different kind of vitamin D.
Also, sitting to my left today, we have our first guest. This is my main man, Chris Jenkins, a.k.a. they call him Reds. You see this gentleman out here in the streets, know that he's a very intelligent, very knowledgeable man. And we just in here, we're going to toss a conversation around. Again, we really don't interview people, but we do like to bring people on here and with their line of expertise, and we still have an adult, intelligent conversation. So,
how you doing, sir?
I'm good. Listen, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys, man. I've been on Mike for years, I've been on Reef for years, and I learned a lot from these guys. Okay. So just to be here, sitting in here in this atmosphere, it's just a pleasure. So I'm in here just going to take all this in. I'm learning from you guys.
Where's the first thing you're going to learn? We don't know nothing.
I can't wait to hear the dialect amongst three kings. I'm all in. I cannot wait. Let's go.
Yes.
All right, so first thing we're going to talk about is that right now in the city of Philadelphia, the police are projecting it's going to be 3,000 gun arrests for this year. The police are mad. They say that the charges are not strong enough. People are not getting strengthening sentences, and they're not seeing the cops are mad because they feel as though it's an open and go policy with these people being charged with it. But it's funny because they said the people who have been arrested for these gun crimes haven't been rearrested for the gun crimes. So I'm not saying what's working or not working. I'm just saying is the gun violence a problem? Yes, it is. The Philadelphia gun violence is amazing. But it's funny because sometimes when you look at it in the chart, 360 some people died last year, right? Mm-hmm. So that sounds very bad. Mm-hmm. But when I think about my high school, just the one high school I went to, I think it was 2,000 males in there. Not saying anybody, I'm not saying people should be dying, but sometimes they make it seem so big and so crazy. Like, oh my God, everybody's dying. But when you really do the math, is everybody really dying?
No. So you said 365 for the year last year?
Well, no, it was more than that. It was close to maybe 400. Somebody got
one
the numbers.
person a day, basically.
Yeah. And I think as of now, as of April 1st, I think we at 120.
120.
And I think that's a 25% increase since last year. So we
only
up
1/3 of the
25%.
year.
I think it's way more than. I'm sorry. It must have been like almost 400 bodies last year. I'm sorry because I know somebody gonna kill me, but I know it was more. It was more.
We
than
got
just a
people
body
to look
a
it
day.
up. Can we get some numbers on that, please?
Yeah, it was more than just one body a day.
But
But
numbers of last year?
yeah,
I think we ended like 460.
four something. Yeah, it was 460. Yeah, it was pretty high.
Yeah, we definitely passed 365.
It was pretty high, but the funny thing is when you go to all, and we get kind of crazy with the topic, but when you go to all this shit, so remember Chicago every year, 700 bodies.
Right.
So
It
and
says near
I'm
500 in 2020 with 2,020 200 people shot.
So how many people?
So it was near 500.
Near 500. So let's just say 485. Let's say 485. It's like a person and a quarter a day.
Yeah.
But and it's not funny because if it's one of your loved ones, yes.
Yeah. So we're not making light of it. We just saying those numbers are not as.
For 2020 from the cops, it's
Say 499.
Yeah, 499. So
And then the
400.
previous year 356, and this year so far is 120, which is
120.
25%. Yeah, 120, which is 25% increase.
That's fine.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
So like that is horrible. I wouldn't want my family dying, nothing like that. But sometimes people, like you look at it in perspective, people make it sound like it's so hard. So in Chicago, 700 bodies, more people die in Chicago. They make it sound bad, and you like shit. I would never move to Chicago, right?
Right.
That's what all of us think.
Right. Until I went to Chicago.
Exactly. I didn't know those beaches.
Oh.
I didn't know those beaches in
Oh, my
downtown
goodness.
Chicago. He told me that.
Oh, my goodness.
But the thing is, exactly though. But you know what's the highest real estate right now?
Where?
Chicago.
Of course.
So-
And probably
so-
Southside
so-
Chicago.
so-
Where all this stuff is happening.
So this is the worst place to be for 10 years.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden,
It's the best place
Yes.
to be.
and we don't hear that though.
According to the real estate.
Yeah, we don't hear that part
Exactly.
though. And I'm gonna tell you what personally it happened for me. Strawberry Mansion. I remember when that article came up about 10 years ago. The most dangerous and worst place to live. Strawberry Mansion.
Absolutely.
Now I'm down Strawberry Mansion.
Yes.
Condos going up. I see white people jogging. We know the look of it, people. I see the blue bikes. If you see the blue bikes, you already know. Hold on to it. But seriously, man, like. Don't let this media, send you these crazy messages, make you think what you got and worth it. But back to what I'm saying about the people getting arrested with guns, like, why do y'all think the behavior for a lot of these men, or women with these guns, like, why do you think the gun violence is so crazy?
I think it's right now, just like when we was coming up, it was a thing where, being in the street selling drugs was the definition of being a man. You know what I mean? It's like these kids got this thing called a man box. And I touched on this topic one day. I was talking at the Old West Philly High, and they had a panel of men who had stories to share. And I had the opportunity to go there and speak. And they was talking about a man box. And in this man box, they was talking about all the different things that guys won't do anymore that they used to do. Like years ago, most young guys, I'm talking about black guys, would go out and get a job if it was available. But it seemed like nowadays in time, that's not the most masculine thing to do. Even when you can prove and you see the statistics, I've seen guys who was on the corner hustling, and I've seen guys who was working at McDonald's. Undisputedly, the guy at McDonald's was grossing more money in today's time when you talk about selling drugs on the corner. It's not moving like it used to. But yet, you'll still have guys who resort to going to the corners versus going to go get a job. So it's not even about money anymore. It's the look. It's what I feel.
It's Instagram.
It's
without
the phone.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's what it represents. It's not even about survival anymore. Because you
With a bigger picture.
On a bigger picture. At one time,
Right here.
at one time, we all old enough in this room to remember when there was times where we knew people who, if they didn't go out and do that, they probably wasn't going to eat as much.
No,
you know what I mean? But those times have came and went. The money is not even in the drugs like that no more. Not like it was when we was coming up. We saw the
16-year-old.
yeah, I mean, we saw it.
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore. It's not like that anymore. So why are we not going out finding good jobs and taking advantage of the good jobs when you know you're going to have more money? It has all to do with how I feel about me and not how I feel about me, but how everybody else feel about me. I'm a man when I do this. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so now speeding it up a little more, this is a whole different generation. This is about catching wreck.
Wreck chasing.
Wreck chasing.
Wreck chasing.
So These young boys is, if you ain't killed nobody, you ain't nobody. You know what I mean? And we got some young boy. We got a guy from Philly who's saying in his lyrics, man, you know, if you ain't about that murder game, then nigga shut up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
crazy,
And as much as I like his story and respect him as an artist, and I grew up around him, you know what I mean? That was just a wrong message to send. You know what I mean? And he's not the only one. I'm just speaking on that because that's the first thing coming to my mind. But that's where we at.
Yeah.
And also, just to piggyback off what you're saying, just the gun violence in our community, the guns and stuff that's being pushed in our community. It's so easy access to get a gun now. A young guy, 13, 14 years old, can get a gun like no problem. It's like going to the corner store and getting a soda.
But why would they want a gun? Like, what is it about a gun that they would even want to do that? As opposed to all the other things they could be doing. They could be rapping, they could be, in their books, they could be in,
Well, see,
learning something.
now you can't even rap unless you talk
Glorifying
about
it.
shooting and glorifying that. That is the rap culture now at this present moment.
You get your
You know what I
stripes
mean?
when you shoot somebody.
But
you
there
get
was two things that pop in my head when I hear a lot of men, whether it be young or old, right? They say one of the things that they always say is that they want to make their parents proud.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm trying to figure out what's lacking in terms of, okay, I need a gun because I want to be that boy. But then, when the other aspect of that is your family life. What's going on in your family life that you don't want your mom or your dad or grandmom or whomever to be proud of you? Because I wouldn't think that they would want the latter and say, oh my God, he's like that's decent, So what is that gap that's making them look at a gun as something that's beautiful or something that they want?
Well, here's the thing. It could be two different things. It could have been lack of structure in the home. But from what I'm seeing firsthand, these guys now, their parents, they the young parents that's producing this, their parents is with the shits. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I see a lot of parents calling their kids to fights now.
Listen, man,
which is crazy.
I have, listen, man.
Oh, so let's have this real conversation.
I have situations that's close to me that I've seen that, and I'm like, whoa, you really proud of, I know somebody who got a few kids, and the one who's doing the worst is the one who get the most praise.
Yeah.
He's looked at as the man. He's looked at as the protector, where every man will protect their mom, protect their wife, protect their sisters. Most men would do this, but the one who gets in most trouble is looked at as more of the man in the house.
And get the most attention.
And get the most attention. So I've seen brothers get tore apart as a result of one want to be a good guy and one just want to be in the street, and everybody in the family love the one who ain't trying to do nothing. So when the street is telling you you're a man for doing all this messed up stuff, and then your mom is basically telling you you're more of a man when you do it, what you gonna do?
I don't want you to lose that thought.
Yeah, what you saying?
I was gonna say that the people who's carrying the guns illegally, they're not thinking about making their parents proud. A lot of the kids who's out here shooting other people, they don't have a mom. Their mom is on drugs. Their dad is in jail for doing the same thing.
Yes.
And back to the rap. If you don't have nothing to rap about, if you don't have a story to tell, nobody's gonna buy into it.
Right.
So now this is the era of Tekashi 6ix9ine. This is the era of NBA YoungBoy. If you're not out here, if whatever you say in these lyrics are not real, nobody's gonna listen to you.
But here's the problem, and that's accurate. That's accurate. That supports what I'm trying to say.
So now, are we upset with the people that have been feeding us this nonsense
Yes.
via the internet, via their music, via
Absolutely,
their words?
absolutely. But here's the problem with that. So why is rap defined by these kinds of lyrics? The guys that can rap, they're so talented, they can rap about anything, but they refuse to rap about anything. They'll rap about the things that they haven't even done because they know that's what gets more attention. So it falls back into the man box. The guy that would rap about love, he be the same person that would go get a job at McDonald's. Nobody respects these dudes. We seen LL in the hip hop game years before you had to talk gangster. When that thing started turning over, everybody wanted to challenge him to a rap battle because he wouldn't talk about that stuff. He would talk about love and stuff like that. And then he showed his expertise where lyrically they couldn't match him either way. But it takes a certain type of person, a certain type of confidence to say, I'm gonna rap about what I feel.
Well,
Or I'm gonna be about what I feel. Period.
that's why you see J. Cole and the Kendricks, and they're not pushed as much as
Exactly.
the Meek Mills, the Migos,
Exactly.
the gang shoot 'em up people, the Young
Right.
Thugs and stuff.
And may I add, they are also, they talk positive, but they are also masculine men. They are not like soft guys because they're not talking. They make it seem like
They're
you
not
can't.
backpackers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They make it seem like you have to be lightweight, timid,
Yeah,
and
soft.
soft to rap the kind of stuff they rap about. But you can't do that to those guys. You can't do that to a Kendrick Lamar. You can't do that to J. Cole. These guys are they define being masculine. They stand on it, and you can't take it from them. But they're not going to be pushed. Even though most guys, even the gangster guys that love the gangster lyrics, cannot deny J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. But
Yeah.
they're not being pushed. Why? Do you think they want all of us being like them?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, and it goes back to what we talked about, because Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole is not going to send nobody to the penitentiary
That's
behind
what I'm
their
saying.
words.
They getting paid for
Now
that.
you got privatized penitentiary, but that's a whole nother. That's a
Whole
whole
nother
nother
topic.
story. You know what I mean?
Hey, so I want to go back
Heavy.
to something that Abi was saying about the
Yeah,
about
water
the
this
guns,
thing
like,
down.
why-
Woo.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
No, 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 no,
Hot
no, no,
here.
no, no. It's fine. Because it's all relative. Like if anybody think that we off subject, then you don't live where we live.
Yeah.
You grew up where we grew up,
Right.
Because everything's layered. But going back, you said why would some of these guys, grab a gun? Well, in this environment, is either eat or be eaten. So I'm not saying that everybody got to go get a gun, right? But I'm a guy that I lived in a lot of places in this city, and I had to travel to go to school very far, and as natural selection, they try to eat me a couple times. People pause on it, but yeah, I know, pause on it. No freaky. But what I'm saying is that when when you in those areas and those predators come out. Now you ain't down there being predator. You down there because you gotta either go to work, go to school, and you are trying to make your parents proud. But when you gotta go through all these predators as a man, it's like I don't mind fighting, but now y'all got knives. Now I'm 13, y'all 18. I didn't eat meat. I was a small dude. So now y'all dudes is like big dudes. And y'all want to take my tokens. Y'all want to take my tramp. No, I got to somehow level this playing field.
Right.
So a person like me, through survival, when I was young, it was a poor decision. I had to adapt to my area.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
That's different.
Yeah, but
because you
no,
got
I'm
to
saying-
keep them off you.
Yeah, but-
These young bulls is getting them to beat them.
So what I'm saying is that when that monster is walking around out there, but believe it or not though, it's other guys who didn't do it at all.
Right.
Who didn't do it.
I
and
think
they-
he's
and they
saying
got
that they
just wild.
forced to be that.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that there's some people who did not take on. See, sometimes I was a victim of the mindset. I thought that, hey, you got to do this to survive. But I've seen dudes not do it at all.
Yeah.
And didn't, and managed to maneuver and make their way through life. They wasn't pussies. They wasn't running. I don't, you know what I mean? I didn't watch what they did, but they moved correctly because they knew who they were. Self-awareness. They knew, hey, I shouldn't walk. If this is the shortcut, but I gotta go through these dudes, no, I'm gonna go this way because that's better for my life. And so your survival techniques is what keeps you alive out here. So I understand why some people do have guns, but I don't agree with like the stick ups and all that. Like no, I'm not with that at all. First of all, to prey on the people in your own communities is the dumbest
or
thing
the
ever.
automatic gunplay as a result
It's
of
all
argument.
you know
what I'm saying?
Because
Like
you
it's
lost
not
the
that.
argument.
Yeah, it's not
because
that
you lost
deep.
the argument, but
Like the boy that just got shot, Franklin Mills, I just heard about.
yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, like all that stuff is relative because it's so many layers to it, man, and it's very frustrating because like when you go in these courtrooms and you looking at these prosecutors, these judges, they don't understand it.
Right.
Somebody watching this podcast right now, if you don't come from this shit, you ain't gonna get it. So you're gonna be looking at like nobody should have a gun, everybody should have 20 years, and that may be true in some instances, but like you gotta understand who everybody's an individual. Some people are being weak and saying, hey, I'm gonna roll with the gang and win the gang and do that. That mentality is the reason why we have this podcast. So hopefully they can see like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get older. I don't want to do this. And another thing for all the guys that want to be the aggressives and do this stuff, like it's a lot of nightmares y'all gonna go through. And that's what they don't tell y'all guys about these murders, man. It's a lot of nightmares. It's a lot of cold sweats. It's a lot of shakes. A lot of talking to yourself. You're gonna be so damn high, especially for you guys that got all the bodies. You're gonna have to be so damn high to be
Deal with it.
just to be in society. Man, I seen some of the biggest killers, man, sitting in bars, zany and drunk out their mind. Because now we're at the age of the guy that was 20 who did not die, who did not go to jail. He made it through and he got a couple homicides. But now you seeing that shit eating him alive. So he was the killer. He was the big killer, the flashy guy. And you watching now on the other side of life, these guys are homeless. They ain't got nowhere to go. They ain't got nowhere to trust. I mean, I talked to a young guy from Miami. He told me, man, he said, Reef, you know, he said the reason why all these bodies be happening, he said most of them killers, they homeless.
Yeah.
They ain't got nobody. So when you say like, you know, why would you with your family? Them dudes ain't got nobody.
Yeah.
So what they thinking is like, well, I'm gonna be somebody, which is totally wrong. But they don't even realize they're doing it because they're being programmed. They don't even realize they're being programmed. Like you said, they're being programmed. They're being programmed. Hey, jump, jump, jump. So, you know, but we all falling victim to all of it. Because even with the guns, right? These phones, Apple come out with trackers on the phone, right? None of these guns that people use are illegal guns, correct? I mean, none of them are legal guns. That means all these guns were bought illegally.
Right.
So that means
Where's
it's
the
a tracker
trackers?
on all of them.
What I'm saying is that why these guns ain't got no trackers?
Right. Yeah.
Guns cost $500,
Yeah.
phones cost $500.
Yeah.
Why
Because
can't they
it's not
do
an
that?
accident.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
It's not an
So you
accident.
gotta think about how you being played. Apple don't want their phones being stolen no more. They put trackers on it. Motherfuckers, if somebody steals an Apple phone now, they throw it right in the trash. They be like, I can't do nothing with that.
Can't do nothing with it.
But guns cost just as much as that, or even more. Why we can't get a tracker on guns? See that's not, but nobody gonna ask that. Everybody gonna lock us up for having the guns. Lock up.
It's easier to
But-
get a
but
gun
why not
than
go
it
to
is
the
an iPhone.
but why not go to the manufacturer? Like,
Right.
hey, listen, it's cool that you selling guns. That's fine.
And you got the serial number.
Yeah,
Where the tracking
Where
at?
the tracking at though? Let's come on. Let's get some digital tracking on each other. If y'all really want this shit to stop, let's really start talking about stopping it. Don't tell me you can't do it. Cause you could. Why can't guns have a GPS?
Yeah.
You know, cause then I'm gonna tell you one thing. All those boys, those certain certain
Those
dudes,
ones that do it at the schools,
oh,
Yeah.
all that other
It's
stuff.
the certain ones who need to have them under wraps
Exactly.
wouldn't be able to have them.
Exactly.
Yeah, them certain boys that go to them gun shows of a certain culture that's allowed to pillage us and sell thousands of guns in our communities. Let's see what they do now. They show people getting caught for straw purchasing. I seen 2 black people get caught for straw purchasing probably last year. Man, the amount of guns they had was probably like 40 or 50. That don't equal to 3,000 guns because they
No.
saying, you know, they saying 3,000 guns just in Philadelphia.
But
And you tell me can't nobody go to the gun manufacturer?
But see, that's another layer.
Runs a good percentage of the currency
Exactly.
in most of the cities, just like drugs. So if you're putting trackers on them, they can't sell guns illegally.
But now
And these are the ones who make the law. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They
So
never
we
do
being
that.
played.
Man,
We
played.
being played.
Now listen to the other 2. For me, you just added 2 more layers, right? So now you spoke about the people that's trying to finagle their way to make it safely to school, right? So again, whoever whatever perspective or whatever mindset they in, they may feel like they need a gun, right? Now we all live in Philadelphia. We know what the streets is like. Can we really say that person is wrong? We don't know what their family life is like. We don't know what their situations is like. You understand? We don't know experiences that they may have already gone through, right? And then you talk about black young men and how we are treated by the police. In terms of, getting that one little case or that one charge that's preventing us from getting that job, from being successful. So again, the mindset is like, this is what they want. Again, we being toy, but when you want those flashy things, the things you see on the internet and the videos, it's so many layers again, but how do we figure out the solutions? What are we doing collectively to say, I heard you say in one of the podcasts, we got to talk to these young people. Again, we are talking to them, but do we need to go out more so in these neighborhoods? What do we have to do? When you talk about going to the mall, I already said I can't go to the bathroom. Now I can't even go get a pair of shoes too. I mean, what are we?
I mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Absolutely, I want to hear your perspective because I'm stuck. I have a son.
And it's so many reasons why our teenagers are the way they are. Like we were saying before, broken home. Whether it's the mother, whether it's the father, they not there. Whether they're going through bullying in school, whether they're going through abandonment issues. So there's so many reasons. We can't say just one reason why solely this child or this adolescent acting the way he's acting. It's a multitude. But I think with one thing that we can do, and there are brothers and sisters out there in the communities that are doing things with different programs and things like that, just create a platform where some of these adolescents can get out here and voice themselves. Because a lot of times they can't get out here, they can't talk. Us as men sometimes are taught to bottle things up.
Yeah.
We need an outlet and release. And sometimes, man, I know even for me, I let things build up. And then I have a ticking moment, and then everything comes out at once instead of just letting it come out at one time.
Yeah.
And so like I said, there are brothers and sisters out in the city that are doing things, but I think we need to continue to do that in every community, even postal codes, zip codes and things like that, even bringing it in tight like that, and then all come together. But just create a platform where they can come in and can sit down and talk and voice themselves. Let them know that they're loved.
Yeah.
If they don't have to be a big brother, a big sister to them, and show them that there's another way. Give them a self-identity. Let them know who they truly are, where they really come from. Give them their true history.
That's kind of segue to the next
So,
topic, huh?
you know, give them that.
Right.
You know, and once a person understands their history and where they real history, where they come from, it gives them a better self of them, and they walk around with their head up. They walk around with respect. You know,
Right.
they respect themselves because
You
they
are
already
great.
come
They
from.
don't
Yeah.
feel like they have
You
to
feel
buy
great.
respect. They
Right.
don't
Yes.
have to overcompensate with things to get respect. I think that you asked the question like, what can we do to change that? I think we under such a condition. I don't think it's a thing that we can do. I think we have to recondition the whole mindset of the community. Meaning, it's not going to be and not to give up, but you might not make this generation. It might not. It might not happen in this
Well, it
generation.
didn't happen in one generation.
That's my
Yeah,
whole point.
exactly.
That's my whole point.
Yeah.
That's my whole point.
Start with the basics. Let's go back to slavery.
You have to go.
Let's go back to
So
slavery.
you have to put probably more time in reconditioning than to fix it than what it did to get us to this point. You understand what I'm saying? But I think that is the solution. Reconditioning the minds. Now we could all collectively put together and figure out a formula or a method to do that, but it's not going to be one thing. It's going to be a multitude of things that has to take place. And
That's why I'm glad we here together.
you know,
trying to
it's
figure this thing
so
out.
much.
Yeah.
It's so much.
And listening, one of the things that I was thinking, you want to chime in?
I was just gonna say, like back when I was in school, we used to have, and even in public school, when we were young, they used to let us have, what's it used to call, rites of passage class. When they would grab all the boys.
Okay.
And we would go to like an after school program thing, and then they'll teach you, you are a man. They taught us about the, remember when
I remember that. I remember rites of
Wu-Tang had a
passage
video
class.
game out back in the day? It was a fighting game.
Yeah.
And it pulled it off the shelf too, but we was all hype about it. We in like 4th grade, and he was like, no, this game promotes violence, da 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 da. But like, you know, it's the blood, it makes you feel good. We like, yeah. He was like, Steve, but that's, you know what I'm saying, breaking it down like, but that's to make you fight him. That's to make you do the
Yeah.
These two people are black, so you,
Stick
black
together.
people supposed to fight. So I'm saying, because as a kid, you don't know no better. And also too, I think one of the things that we need to focus on that has never even been talked about is the predatoriness of music. Music is very predatory.
Absolutely.
I just really noticed that kind of like 2 days ago, because I was thinking like everybody forces you to push your music on children. Granted, they're trying to say people in their 20s, people in their 30s, 40s, they no longer consume music. Like they just live in a regular, mundane 9-to-5 life, but push all this coke, drugs, everything. You know as an artist, you are marketing this to children.
To children.
Yeah.
You know that. Like, you know that. That's why, if you listen to Few Stuff, man, it's about these kids. Oh, it's about these kids. Everybody's about these kids. The fans, kids. They've always been pushing it on children. And it's,
Yeah.
I just haven't noticed that now.
Yeah, that's like the most important
Right.
thing. The kids.
You
That's
kill-
who's
you kill
coming
the
behind
children.
you.
You kill the lineage.
Yeah, like that, that's the seeds. I mean, literally,
Yeah.
if you don't have it, that's like when that's what Earth.
Especially
like
right
you ain't
now.
got no seeds, you ain't got no tree, you ain't got no plants, you got no vegetation.
Can't
If you poisoning the kids,
I tell you this, because I know you want to say.
Only because I feel like the kids today are older than the kids from our generation.
And
Like they don't know
yeah,
no kids
yes,
stuff.
real fast.
They don't
Yeah.
double dutch, hopscotch, you know what I mean, jacks. Like they be like,
Well,
what?
okay, they
What?
sitting here
They-
having conversations
Stick
about
ball.
sexuality.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
You know what I'm
their
saying?
mindset is
And-
so much like elevated than where we were. And then even going back, so I'm sitting here listening to us, and of course, you know, we talking about the problem. We don't know the solution, right? However, one thing that, especially as a black woman and a mother, that I can think that we can do is that black women